G'day people, Sharon here, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to stitch out one of my trapunto designs, and trapunto means that the quilting design has got some part of it that's got extra wadding in and makes it stand up more. These designs are ones that I made a long time ago, and there may be other trapunto designs around on the web now, but I really don't know how they're made. These are the ones that I designed. These designs are available from my website, sharonsdesigns.com.au. So let's start doing a trapunto with an embroidery machine. I'm using the Memorycraft 10,000, very old machine, doesn't matter which machine you use in this particular case. I'm going to hoop up my backing fabric, and I will hoop it up with the right side down if it's a fabric that has a difference between the front and the back. Hand finger tight, this one's actually tight enough. You don't want to go any further than finger tight in here. We're putting loose laying, the wadding, and I've got it going all the way to the edges up there. Now this is where trapuntos are different. I'm adding an extra 2 layers in here. And that is what is going to make the trapunto bit stand out. Now I'm going to attach my hoop. Trying not to disrupt the camera. Now you can see the needle's down here, and I've put that fabric a bit further back. The needle has actually come to the center of the hoop, and on all Janome embroidery machines that's what it will do. When you go to the beginning of a design, it will go to the center of the hoop. I actually want this design to stitch out at the top of the hoop. So I'm going to move the whole hoop now with the up arrow key, and now the middle of that design is where the needle is now. So what I'm going to do is put the foot down. If I hadn't done that, it would beep at me when I started it. And then I'm going to press start. Now I'm going to babysit this very definitely. Unstitch and stop. No, it did a couple up. That's the way it is. I wasn't fast enough. Now you can see it's just stitching directly on top. Of those extra bits of wadding, and now it's stopped. Now I'm going to go back to the cutting table and I'll show you what's going on. So here we are back at the cutting mat, and you can see I'm still in the hoop, so my backing fabric is still in the hoop. I've still got my 1 layer that I would have if I was doing a normal quilting design, but I've got these 2 extra layers here with this section, which was the colour sew out that was called blue. I'm going to get those 2 threads out of there. Now the thing I have to do without popping it out of the hoop, I need to trim these back. You don't need to be particularly exact with this, but we need to trim this extra 2 layers back to that stitching. I've probably got 3 or 4 millimeters, 1/8 of an inch of excess about there, but that's fine because the bit that it sews a little bit outside of this. This is my designs, I designed them this way. So that's what we've got now. We have fabric in the hoop, 1 layer of wadding that covers the whole area, and 2 layers in that bit that's going to be trapuntoed. As you're looking through my designs, you may notice that some of the numbers, so this one that I'm doing today is 001 T. But the second design is just 002, and that is the indicator of which designs are trapunto designs. All of the trapunto designs can be done as normal quilting designs without the extra wadding. To do that, you just need to skip through the blue section of the design and simply sew out the red section, and then they stitch out exactly the same way that the normal designs do. So now we're at this point. I'm going to take this whole hoop back to the machine and put it back in. I haven't changed anything. I haven't changed anything on the machine. This just goes back into the machine now. So we're back at the machine now, and nothing has changed except that I have trimmed that wadding away from there. Whilst we're here, I just want to show you up here a little bit, maybe if I can make it happen. At the moment, I've got the speed limiter set to the far left, which is slow. If I move it over there, it'll be fast. I'm going to talk about doing that whilst we're doing this sew out. So now I'm going to put my top fabric into the hoop over the top of everything else. Make sure I haven't pulled things up underneath. Now I'm going to take this thread, and hopefully I can stop the machine after one stitch. The newer machines have a thing called one stitch stop, which makes this a lot easier. So I'm going to do one stop. Oh, I did it. And I'm going to pull that bobbin thread to the top. The reason I'm doing that is that then I won't get a nest of thread underneath. Now I'm going to start sewing, and the machine is going to sew the square that goes around the outside. It's pretty boring really, but I'm going to babysit it while it does it. Now, this machine does not cut threads. It's just done a jump stitch there, and I've got a choice. I could leave it there. I'm going to trim off the two beginning threads. I could leave that there, but there's a chance that as it's sewing, it might get caught under this, and that would be not something I want to have happen to my machine. So I'm actually going to cut this once it gets going. I don't really need to keep any further eye on that part of it as it's stitching out, except I don't want that thread there. It's just made another one. Same thing, if I leave it there, I've got this jump thread that the machine could potentially get stuck on. I am going to cut both of those off up there, take it round here and press start again. The machine is now starting to do its stippling, and this is going to take 6 minutes. At the moment I have got the machine set on that low speed, and you can hear how fast it's going. I'm going to set it to the high speed now. Under these circumstances, it actually doesn't make much difference. And that's because the machine was doing something that's short stitches, and it's doing them as fast as it can anyway. So it hasn't changed things. If I was doing a design that has longer areas like this of straight stitching, it would increase the speed of the needle is happening at, and you would be able to hear a big difference. There is a little bit of a difference going on now. before I turned the camera on, I just cut that last thread off that was over here. Basically all I need to do now, lift the foot, undo the hoop from the back of the machine and lift it off. And because this machine doesn't have a capability to cut its threads, cut the backing thread. And now we'll go over to the table again. So we're back at the table again. Pop this out of the hoop. At this point my backing fabric is so short that it's easy to get out. Now I need to cut my design, and after I've cut it I'll show you the effect of the trapunto. I'm cutting it with a little bit less than 1/4 of an inch, so my 1/4 inch line there is, and I'm putting it just inside the straight stitch that was cut first, or sewn first by the machine, and I'm just going to do that in all 4 sides. Always make sure that you cut away from you, not towards you. Now I cut those jump threads on the front, but I didn't cut them on the back because not really possible to while the machine's stitching out. If you've got a machine that cuts the threads, it won't be a problem. So there's my design, and hopefully you can see that that bit there actually sits out. So that's design 001T. That's actually part of the design on the fabric that I'm using there. The thread that I'm using is Jewel of the Nile by King Tut. It's beautiful colour thread. Hopefully you can see the different colours that are presenting there. I would not advise you to do this one first. If you're starting to do my designs, start with one like this, which is design 002, because this one is a single stitch out, single colour stitch out, and it's easier to do. I'm planning on stitching these designs out on different machines. In fact, I've already recorded on the S9. The different machines can do them in different sizes. There are 100 designs. They cost $50 US for 100 designs. Each of those 100 designs can be stitched out in up to 5 different sizes depending on your machine. So here's my finished 001T design. It's got extra wadding in the middle. It's not a huge piece in this particular one, but it does give it some extra interest and puffiness in a quilt. This is a design in 14 centimetres. These are stitched out in 20 centimetres. You can see the difference there. There is actually a size in between that and 2 sizes that are bigger than this, all on the one set of designs. Hope you've learned something new about your embroidery machine today and what things it can be used for. It's particularly surprising, I think, to a lot of people that you can stitch straight on top of that wadding. It's not a problem as long as you babysit it while it's there.